Hello, everybody. It's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Every Monday, we are live right here on YouTube, hanging out with you guys, talking some Royal Caribbean. Lots happening in the world of cruising these days, even though there really aren't that many ships sailing. But nonetheless, lots happening. I want to get to all of it and answer your cruise questions right here on YouTube. Big shout out to our chat who's already going strong this evening. Hello, Nathan Satra. Hello, Josh Taylor in the house. Mark Hamill. Hello, Brogan. Almost midnight, and Brogan checking in. Staying up late. Appreciate that, buddy. Good to see you. Beth Dickerson from MEI Travel. Hello, Beth. Becky Menken from MEI Travel. Hello, Becky. And Kelly Hardy from MEI Travel. Got the whole crew in here. Love it. Nice. We've got, let's see here, Keith Bruce is here, Mark Hamill, Joe Tricardio says, hey, Matt, we're getting closer. Dude, you are not wrong. It feels like every day there's a little bit something extra that makes you think we are getting a little bit closer to cruising restarting. You know, a lot of good momentum out there. Excuse me. Good stuff. Don Goldstein says, really, a hoodie? It's our last blast of winter here in Florida, Don. It is downright chilly. Also, I don't know about your house, but my house always retains the colder air in, the whole insulation thing. Anyway, it's colder in the house, but it is getting chilly outside. I just took a quick ride over to Jersey Mike's, and it was a little chilly. I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath this, so, you know, it's chilly. So, Ciao Diva, hello. Susan, hello. We've got our first question of the day. It's coming to us from, I missed it there. Dennis Armand, hello. We had a question. Yes. Okay, so our first question today is from iDunce. I hope I'm saying that right. My question is, if I want to have a cruise in the summer of 2023, what destination would you recommend? Like Asia or Europe or the Caribbean? That's a loaded question. I mean, there's so many places you could travel. I mean, the fact you're limited to, it's like, there's so many options. I don't even know where to start. I would say if have you been on a cruise before? I might say to you, maybe wherever you're closer to, Asia, Europe, or the Caribbean. You know, you live in North America, go on a Caribbean cruise. You live in Europe, go on a European cruise. You live in Asia, go on an Asian cruise. That might be the best course of action, quite frankly, given, you know, it's just going to be a good way to start. But honestly, I really don't know a whole lot more else to tell you on that. Jan Fagan with an epic super chat. Woo! Thank you, Jan. Monday night party with Matt. Wow, Jan, thank you so much for your generosity. What a way to start us off here on this YouTube Monday. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Jan. Very kind of you. And we're here to talk some Royal Caribbean. Mary Paluzzo's got there's Jan's super chat. Mary wants to know, when do you think they will announce the cancellation of May cruises? I will be perfectly honest, Mary. I have no idea. And more to the point, I am still surprised. I'm very surprised they haven't announced it yet, the cancellations for May, because every other cruise line has. I'm assuming there's obviously some logistics going on in the back end. Maybe there are some sailings that will make it, some will not. I don't know, quite frankly. But it's very odd. I will tell you this, though, Mary. I did a blog post at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com a couple weeks ago. And in the blog post, I went through all the cancellations that have happened thus far to look for a pattern. And there really isn't one. And in some cases, they waited till about 20-something days before the sailing to cancel it. So we're not in uncharted territory. Janie Flaming with the super chat. Thank you, Janie. I think Janie. Janie, thank you for the super chat. I so enjoy your videos. You have the coolest voice. Why, thank you very much. Thank you, Janie, for the super chat. Very kind of you. Very generous. And I appreciate the compliment. I'm glad you were enjoying the videos here. I appreciate you guys being here, guys, because listen, I don't have to tell you, we haven't been on a cruise in a while. And having you guys here, this is part support group. These live videos are part support group, part family reunion, and part group therapy in all good ways. So, Matt McCullough, I was told the future cruise credit was only available for the canceled reservation, canceled by Royal Caribbean. If the reservation was paid in full, will I get FCC for the amount for my deposit? Yes. The future cruise credit that you can get from Royal Caribbean if your cruise is canceled is good for deposits and paid in full. In addition, Matt, if you decide to cancel the cruise, like before Royal Caribbean cancels it, you do have the option under the Cruise with Confidence program to be able to do that and get 100% future cruise credit of your deposit. So no, it's not just limited to people who made final payment, or full payment, I should say. We got Deb from Virginia in the house. Welcome, Deb. We have a cruise on Ovation of the Season September, Seattle, Alaska. Are the Canadian port dramas cleared? No, they're not. Right now, the latest, which came over the weekend, is that two senators from Alaska have introduced a new bill that would provide a temporary suspension of the Passenger Vessels and Services Act, aka the PVSA, aka the Jones Act, which it's not actually called that, but people call it that, as it pertains to cruise ships anyway. That's a new bill, but Deb, bills doesn't mean it's going to become law by any means, but it's a good sign. But to answer your question, no, right now, there's no means of which to offer cruises legally from the U.S. this year. I think Royal Caribbean, by virtue of the fact they have not canceled these cruises yet, still thinks there's an opportunity to maybe salvage the season. So we'll have to wait and see. Mike Pastore, hello. Stacy Lamp, any updates from crew members? Seems there are some crew members who are definitely gotten contracts to go back on board certain ships. A lot of it is just based on, not hearsay, but, secondhand knowledge, right? Somebody has to divulge that. And in a lot of cases, the crew members aren't really supposed to talk about it. But there's definitely indications that some crew members are indeed going back on board. Most notably Odyssey of the Seas, because it's going to be starting, I should say, sailings in May from Israel. But for other ships in the fleet, I wouldn't go quite that far, Valerie. I don't know why, Valerie, Stacy, about that. So speaking of Valerie says, good to see you. Can we cruise soon? I hope so. I really, really hope so. But listen, all this good news, man, new vaccine rollouts, new vaccines being approved, cases down. This is all the information. This is all what we're looking for. So we're moving in the right direction. Jared, any particular cruise in the new release of 23 that you are excited for? Yeah, that's a really good question, Jared. I love the idea of the Freedom class in Florida, having all those ships here. I mean, as a Floridian, I'm a little biased, but I'll tell you, I really, really like that stuff in there. It's really, really nice. So, yeah. Josh Taylor, what perks do you get for the Aqua Theater Suite on Oasis class? Is it worth it? Well, there's two kinds of Aqua Suites, and one is Star class, and one is not. One is Sky class. So it depends on which category, Josh, you get. So I guess I'd have to know which one that would be. And yeah. Powerful Female, got your first vaccination, getting ready to cruise again safely. Nice. Loving it. Let's see. I'm trying to get to, there's so many great questions here, so I'm just trying to check it out. Jamie says, just verifying, if Royal Caribbean cancels, you can use Lift and Shift. Yes, as of right now, that is correct. Lift and Shift is not available regularly, but Royal Caribbean has said that if they cancel their cruises, that is an option there. You should also know, Jamie, of course, that can always change going forward, but that's the last information we had, and we saw that, actually, Jamie, when Royal Caribbean canceled the Odyssey sailings, the Odyssey of the Sea sailings that were originally scheduled for Europe this year and have now been replaced with those sailings from Israel. Those people on those affected sailings did get Lift and Shift as an option in what they could do. So, S. Benaligo got a survey today from Royal Caribbean asking about why I booked my August cruise and what protocols I'm expecting. Is this new? It is, actually. I posted about that at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com earlier about 5 o'clock this evening, a couple hours ago. It is a new survey. It seems like everybody got this survey. I mean, I know that not everybody gets a survey, but everybody got this survey. Candace says, I love your channel. Thank you. Do you think one family from three different families, total of 6, will be allowed to dine together on Harmony in Europe in August 2021? Okay, so I think I understand what you're asking now, Candace, in terms of being able to basically, sit at the same dinner table there. I don't know yet. It is unclear, Candace, what we should expect, because, of course, Royal Caribbean has not announced its protocols yet, so don't know yet what you should expect on that. Hello, Leona from sunny Arizona. Welcome. Larry got both shots. I'm jealous of you guys. I wish I could get my shot already, because I want to see my parents. I want to go to a restaurant. I miss those things. So, Don Goldstein says the CDC says people who are fully vaccinated can now mingle with unvaccinated people. That's great. I mean, obviously it doesn't directly pertain to, cruises, but yes, absolutely, that's great news. Again, to Don's point, that is moving in the right direction. We got Another epic super chat, my goodness, from Eddie Hill. Woo! Sorry. Eddie writes, hey, Matt, here's some drink money for your next cruise, and here's hoping we get to cruising soon. Brother, thank you, my friend. I always could use some good drink money. Thank you. That's awesome. Very generous of you. And I think, it's funny, when New Year's came around this year, New Year's, I don't know about you guys, I was thinking New Year's, and I was like, gosh, I hope I go on one cruise this year, like maybe in, Thanksgiving for the Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise. Shameless plug over Harmony of the Seas over Thanksgiving, right? It's like, that's kind of almost like, it felt like a stretch. And now I feel like not only is that not a stretch, that's like a lock almost. The question is, are we going to be able to restart cruises in June, July, September? I mean, it feels, I don't know. I'm very optimistic. I'm always a glass is half full kind of guy. I'll take a sip of water with that. But things are fine. It's almost like you have to pinch yourself like, oh, it's actually good news. Oh, it's actually good news, So, Christopher says, hey, Matt, I have an 8-day cruise booked for October. It has not been canceled, but has been removed from the website. Do you think they'll just trim to 7? Would love to get your opinion. That's a good question. We're all kind of wondering that as well, Christopher. Initially, I thought, they'll just trim them down to 7, like you said. The problem is, I didn't think about this, the logistics involved with that, because you can't just come back to the, Port Canaveral or Port Miami whenever you feel like it. There are slots, and these slots are booked up. You can't just throw another ship in there. You can't double park at Terminal A in Port Miami. So I'm not sure how they'll handle that, actually. It's a really good question. And it's surprising that it's gone this long, but I think like so many other their protocols, I think Royal Caribbean is not in any rush to make a decision on that because, of course, with everything changing, there's always possibilities that we could see, additional. It's better to wait until you have to make a decision than try to make a decision early on for the sake of making a decision. From a guest standpoint, it can be frustrating because you're sitting there like, well, we're in limbo here, but yeah. So, what is my favorite airline? I think JetBlue. Sub Zippo, there was a survey. Yeah, so there was a survey sent today. I got it a little later than everybody else, but it's definitely been making it. I mean, a lot of people who have cruises booked either this year or next year have got the email. I'm not saying it's for everybody because I don't think they send it to everybody, but a lot of people have gotten the survey, and we have if you want to see what the survey looks like, it's over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. All right, Les White, you, sir, can go somewhere else, I'm sure, because don't appreciate that in here. Bullet 930, what are the benefits of the Royal Genie under Star Class? The Royal Genie is like, how do I describe the Royal Genie? It's like butler, suite concierge, and your rich uncle rolled into one. It's not quite the butler, but they do a lot of things for a personalized service to enhance your vacation. Hooking you up with different things, making your whole cruise experience easier. It's, I don't know. Can anyone think of, is there a really good, analogy we can draw for a Genie? But it's a really great service. I mean, it's just, boy, it's expensive, but boy, is it great to be able to sail with having your own Royal Genie on a cruise ship. It's really amazing. I really love what they've done with that. So that's really I would argue, Bullet 930, that the Royal Genie is like the best benefit of being in Star Class. Quite frankly, it's the reason to book Star Class. Bill Coco, my cruise to Bermuda out of New Jersey is in 90 days, and I checked in early, check-in like we can. And gave me a time shop between 3 and 3:30. Seems a little later. I'm wondering why I can't get, I think you meant on board earlier. The check-in times are definitely skewed later. Bill, I'm surprised that at 90 days, all you're seeing is those times. I might check back again. But, yeah, I remember, Bill, like earlier in 2020, we started seeing some later check-in times. The speculation, and again, Bill, speculation, is that there's going to be later boarding times because they need more time to, get people out of the ship, clean it up and whatnot, more so than before. That remains to be seen if that's actually the case. But you haven't stumbled upon something that hasn't been known about, if that makes sense, Bill. It's kind of the way that's going right there. Miles Smith, does anybody know a good third-party excursion site? I'm having trouble finding reputable ones. My favorite shore excursion sites that I would use for third-party would either be resortforaday.com or, what was it called? A couple of them went out of business, unfortunately, but it was like Shore. Hold on a second. Shore Excursion Fox. It was like Fox Shore Excursions. Well, I think they're gone. Yeah, Shore. I used to use shorefox.com, and they're gone. They're. I mean, these businesses didn't have the financial resources. So unfortunately, Miles, you're probably going to strike out here in the interim until cruises really get back out there. I know there was Becky Mencken. Maybe you can help me out here because I know that you guys leveraged a third-party shore excursion operator, and I believe they filed for bankruptcy, maybe getting bought out by some, I don't know. Anyway, a lot of short third parties are going through a lot of financial difficulties because, yeah, it's really hard to go like a year without any income, and unfortunately, a lot of these have done that. So, hey, Rich O from MEI Travel is here. Welcome. Kelly Hardy, I'm booked on the group cruise in July and didn't get the survey. You know what's interesting, Kelly? The survey I got was in reference to my Grandeur of the Seas cruise in Barbados in December, which I also have many other sailings before that. So kind of interesting how they chose that. Eugene, are you saying no cruising in May? Trying to be booked for my birthday? You know, Eugene, I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, I know as much as you guys do. I'm just by virtue of the fact that Carnival or Norwegian and Disney and like every other cruise line is canceled in May leads me to believe that it's highly unlikely that Royal Caribbean will sail in May. But again, we don't know. I'm not here to, as you guys know, I try not to delve too much into speculation and guessing. I want to give it to you guys straight or as straight as I can. And yeah, that's kind of why I'm leaning in that direction. But yeah. Hey, Jason Lickert with the super chat. Woo! Thank you, Jason. Jason says, I feel the government could have been far more considerate with the cruise lines during this crazy time. That's why I'm giving my stimulus check to Royal Caribbean. You know, it's kind of interesting. I think what's more interesting, Jason, to me is the way. So the cruise lines, I have no doubt that the cruise lines have been held to a double standard throughout this entire process. Meaning, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong what the CDC has, implemented policy-wise towards cruise lines, but they have done that. Meanwhile, the other aspects of life, like air travel and a variety of other things, have been completely unregulated and left to their own devices during this entire process. And now the CDC is trying to turn the screws to the airlines, and the airlines are like, whoa, 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 whoa. You want us to do like super basic stuff? And, that's crazy talk. Like if they got even a hint of a taste of what the cruise lines got, they'd be crying. And it's kind of interesting looking at how the airlines are kind of dealing with that. But Jason, I appreciate the super chat right there. Greg and Dobbs says, Matt, do you think the CDC is waiting to see how opening communities affects COVID numbers, and this could push back test cruises significantly? Our July 25th Bermuda cruise out of Bayonne seems doomed. I don't know. It's a good question. The issue with the CDC, a lot of what's happening in terms of progress, clearly we're not getting daily updates. Neither the cruise lines nor the CDC is publicizing, the play-by-play of what is happening. We get pieces of information here and there, right? We might get a cruise line executive that mentions in passing something that happened. We might get an update to the CDC's website, which alludes to something that is happening. But it's not like every day we get a press release of here's where we are right now and here's what's happening. And unfortunately, in the absence of in the void of updates, we're left to our own devices, and of course, you always think, some of the worst things that are out there. What was the question? I don't remember what the question was. Do you think this could impact? I think here's my honest thought, and I base my thoughts on, number one, I feel better about the situation between the cruise lines and the CDC after hearing what Royal Caribbean had to say during its earnings call. It sounds like they are in constant communication with them. I believe that with things improving from a health standpoint, the better things improve in life in general, more vaccine rollout, case numbers going down, all those things, that basically takes the onus away on the CDC to feel that they are in this protective mode, that, this is a public health emergency. Everything needs to be, as locked down as possible. We need to, be as vigilant as possible. The second they can feel a little more comfortable with that, then obviously I think the reins will come off. And I really do believe that we are moving actually towards test sailings beginning. My hope is that we'll see these test sailings in maybe, It'd be great if it was this month, but I don't know when to expect. I mean, hopefully in the next, whether that's April, whether that's May, I don't know. But I do feel like we're actually moving in that direction. Jared, would you fly to Los Angeles to go on a Royal Caribbean cruise if they do happen? What's funny, Jared talking about, if you guys didn't see this, on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com this morning, I posted a blog post. The schedule, a Port of Los Angeles schedule, had, it's all been pulled down now. You're welcome. The schedule for November 21 and December 21 navigated the sea sailing out of LA, which I'm sure will make a lot of people here very happy. I was actually talking about this with Becky Mencken from MEI Travel. She lives on the West Coast, and I was like, man, as if there's not enough cruises in November for me to go on. I would love to, absolutely. But Jared, I'm gonna have to do some juggling, man, because I've got the Odyssey inaugural cruise in November booked. I've got the Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise on Harmony of the Seas booked for Thanksgiving. I've got Grandeur in Barbados in early December. So my dance card is getting very, very full, which is not a bad problem because my dance card has been very, very empty lately. Jennifer Kemp would love a sailing from LA, right? Jan Fagan says, Matt, I tried to book a cruise next year at a Port Everglades, and it looks like cruises stop in April 2022. Any idea why? At a Port Everglades, essentially, they're just not sailing out of there. Royal Caribbean, ever since they built Terminal A in Port Miami, has been shifting much of their cruises over to Miami. So if you're looking for a South Florida cruise, Jan, you're pretty much looking at Miami, right? I mean, there's also Port Canaveral, but that's not South Miami. That's not South Florida, rather. So that's kind of why I think you're seeing that. They got a better deal in Miami currently, which is the same deal, by the way, that got them to leave Miami in the first place for Port Everglades. Port Everglades is being used more for celebrity these days, or going forward, I should say. Amy, once test sailings happen, when's as soon as actual cruises can happen? Well, it depends, Amy, because number one, we don't know how long the test cruises have to be. The CDC basically is not disclosed, what needs to happen. How many, do you need one test cruise, 2, 3, 8? It remains unclear. But at the very least, we do know that you need to do some test cruises and then apply for permission to sail. And I believe there's a small waiting period in the application to when you ask for approval, it's like 30 or 60 days for that. So, yeah. Kathy says, we were wondering, in light of what's happening, do you think they will cut final payment from 90 days to maybe 45? I do not. There is one exception, and that is Alaska. Royal Caribbean has said that if you're still in limbo for your Alaska 2021 cruises, you haven't canceled it yet because Royal Caribbean hasn't canceled it yet, and your final payment date starts to come up, they will push that back to 45. But for other cruises, no. They've been very adamant, even during the worst part of the pandemic, saying that they're not doing that. So the answer is almost certainly no. Steve Cohen, you need to book some January 2022 cruises on Harmony. Listen, man, when cruises begin again, the Matster is going to be booking a lot of sailings, guys. I got to make up for lost time. No question about it. Crystal, will you need to get the vaccine to go on the ship? Royal Caribbean has not made a decision either way if it'll be required or not. Ethan says, since everyone will have access to the vaccine by June, there's no reason for the CDC to keep doing stuff. I'm editing his comment over here. Listen, I don't disagree with you to some extent, but I think there's a lot of moving parts to this. And I don't disagree. I mean, listen, I would have thought we could have been cruising a long time ago, quite frankly, but clearly not. So, yeah. But I will tell you this much. Forget cruising for a second. Here's the bottom line. Here's the I forgot how the saying goes, but here's the basics. The more people that get vaccinated, the less numbers that we have, less positive cases of COVID. The less positive cases of COVID we have, the less that this goes from a pandemic to an epidemic to not a global health emergency. And when it's not a global health emergency, the CDC will not be able to enforce this anymore. The rationale behind why the CDC is acting with this conditional sale order and before the no sale order was we're in a public health emergency. The U.S., the United States, public health emergency. When it's not a public health emergency, there's nothing else to stand on that. So that's kind of the way to look at it more than anything. And maybe there's speculation out there that, hey, maybe the cruise lines are kind of looking at it that way. Maybe they're saying we're gonna wait this out because at this point this may be. I don't know if that's the case or not. They haven't said. So Ronan, any news about Australia cruises? Nothing yet, unfortunately. Nathan's here. How do I tell my boss I have cruise booked in November and then January? YOLO, book it. How do you tell him? Wait for 5 o'clock on a Friday. Hey, have a great weekend, boss. And by the way, I booked a cruise in November and January. Have a great weekend. See you later. I always hated that. Brass tacks. Thank you, Whiplash. That was what it was. Yeah, brass tacks. Yes. Anyway, yeah, when I had a day job, I hated telling my boss because I would have cruises booked like 2 years in advance, right? And I would be embarrassed to tell my boss that I have a cruise booked 2 years in advance. So I'd only like give it them like every like couple months. I don't want them to think I was like too weird. They already knew I was weird, but I don't need to go off on the deep end of weirdness, you know? So Beachy Mama says, just let us all book a cruise, and then everyone who books that particular cruise can quarantine together, and then we can go on already a party before the cruise. Sounds like a great idea. Nick from Singapore. What's up, Nick? I saw your post about the Ovation at Singapore dry dock, but Quantum not dry dock yet, even though Quantum on first. Yeah, one has nothing to do with the other, Nick. Cruise ships get refurbished every 5 years. Quantum got hers whenever was on schedule. I don't remember the last time. But one has nothing to do with the other. It's just every 5 years, cruise ships go in for refurbishment work, dry dock. So, we have a lot of people in chat. Holy moly, this is amazing. Dennis Orman, we should all contact our Congress representatives to pressure the CDC to treat cruise lines the same as airlines. I don't know that will go anywhere, Dennis. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't know that. I would tell you if you're going to contact your congressional representatives that you should tell them to support that bill that those Alaska senators proposed to allow the PVSA to be waived, because that would be certainly helpful. Sanders Strauss, sorry if you already answered this, but the odds Royal Caribbean cancels all May sailings out of U.S. ports. I mean, I don't know what the odds are, but it looks pretty good that they will, Sander, based on one thing, and that is that Carnival, Norwegian, Disney, I mean, literally every cruise line has canceled May sailings. It's hard to imagine that Royal Caribbean will not. Of course, you guys know anything's possible, right? I don't know more than you do, but it doesn't look good from that perspective. Tony Diaz with the super chat. Wow, Tony, thank you. Once cruising starts, these super chats will go to the piano player, the guy who can actually sing. I feel seen. I can't believe it. I thought we had something there, Tony. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Let's see. Catherine says, when the cruise will be started, crew members here from Philippines. You're from the goodness. Well, I hope you get to get on board a ship as well. Noreen, what do you recommend for the people who are first-time cruisers? Good question. Use a good travel agent, number one. Book your cruise as early as you can. And number three, learn as much as you can about the ship you're going on, in terms of what it offers. Be as informed as you possibly can be. It's always a good way to do it, but use a good travel agent, book as early as you can for the best possible price, and research about your cruise so you're well prepared. And if you're in this live stream, you're like way ahead of everybody else. Most people don't do any research at all. So, Demeets, man, I hope I said that right. Do you think the CDC is waiting for the warmer months for safety? No, I think at very least, guys, I think we can establish in 2020 that weather, warm or cold, has no effect on coronavirus. It's just a detail. But yeah, no, I don't think there's any correlation to that at all. Jonesy says the super chat with the Alf animation needs the Alf laughing audio backing it. Yeah, I don't know if I would get DMCA'd for that one, like where my video would be pulled down, but yeah, you're not wrong on that. How deep does your Alf fandom go? I've seen Project Alf, the movie, the terrible movie they made. I think I saw some of the animated series. I have some Alf trading cards in my sock drawer. I don't know why they're in there, but they've been in there forever. But I just enjoyed the show. I rewatched the show a couple of years ago. It was on some rando channel, and I like it. Who doesn't love Alf? Ron Ladowski in the house. A Royal Caribbean blog group cruise. I think you forgot the blog in there. Means tequila shots. I would suggest starting training now. Matt is tough. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it, buddy. And I hope we get to try that out very, very soon. We have our next super chat coming in. Luke Wallace coming in here. Mr. Pitt. Yeah, no, I'm not Brad Pitt. I know we look alike, but it's Matt. Anyway, Did your crazy scheme to sail from Israel pan out? I'm guessing not, since you haven't mentioned it yet. No, unfortunately not. I think here's the reason, Luke. The number one reason why it hasn't panned out is because I'm not vaccinated. I would have to be vaccinated. And the time required I'm not eligible to get vaccinated. So the time is not on my side on this one. I don't have enough time. There's Luke's super chat. To be ready for that sailing. So yeah, it's just basically, Luke, unless like Florida changes its policy like tomorrow and I can get my COVID vaccine like in the next like 2 weeks, I just don't have enough time between the time it takes to get an appointment, get a shot, wait, time passes, get your second shot, more time passes, and then be fully vaccinated. It just doesn't work out there. Ronan wants to know, is the food at Coco Key free, complimentary? Yes. There are a couple spots that do cost extra, but there's plenty of amazing complimentary food at Perfect Day at Coco Key. Karen Scott says, got a lift and shift cruise, explore the season November. I'm waiting to buy my drink package once test cruises actually happen. Then it's go time, and I'll actually be browsing the excursions page. I think a lot of people, Karen, are thinking the same thing, where there's a lot of trepidation. I'm still booking cruises, not nearly at the pace that I would have been otherwise, but I think there is a little bit of trepidation that, like, listen, we're going to wait it out a little bit more, but once cruises do begin, or test cruises even, that there's a good sign things are going to be happening, bam, we're going to be there, and we're going to get those, we'll start booking stuff. I think for travel agents, if you're a travel agent out there, hello, Jennifer and Kelly and Becky and Richo, Beth, it's going to go, your phones are going to blow up like overnight. When that news breaks, test cruises begin, boom. I think people are going to go nuts. I really, really do. Tri-State Killer, any word on vaccines mandatory to cruise? No. Royal Caribbean, there was an update last week. I think you probably saw that video that I posted here on our channel, but Royal Caribbean has not made a decision yet about that. Charity Murphy says, no cruising allowed in Australia through July. Government working with the lines to restart cruising safely and optimistic. Royal Caribbean selling 2022 cruises. Ronan, thank you. Thanks for the update there. Appreciate that. Stephen Z, you can qualify as a teacher and get the vaccine, and educator supreme. Yes, I'm a teacher. Where do you teach, Mr. Hotchberg? I mostly teach on YouTube. Who are your students? Tony Diaz? How old is he? I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say how old Tony is, but right. Danito wants to know, have they mentioned anything about med cruises? Not for Royal Caribbean. The only exception, of course, being Odyssey of the Seas out of Israel to the Greek islands and Cyprus, but other than that, no. Jeffrey Leonard says, since I can't cruise, I'm headed to Florida next week. I have just got to get away to somewhere. Yeah, I know that feeling all too well, man. And I hope you have a great time down in Florida. I'm sure a lot of people would love the financial support down here. So that sounds great. Let's see. Tell them you're a public information officer. I'll wait my turn. It's okay. Don Goldstein with an epic super chat. Thank you for keeping us connected with cruising. Woo! Thank you, Don and Judy. My goodness. Thank you, friends. Here, I'm cheersing you. I think you're not supposed to cheers with you're not supposed to cheers with water or an empty cup. One of them is bad luck, but whatever. Cheers, Don and Judy. Appreciate your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Beachy Mama's got an important question. Remind me how many bottles of wine per stateroom you can bring on. Is it per room or per person? 2 bottles of wine per stateroom, not per person. Remember those questions? Yeah, this is an important question. It's a great, bringing your own wine on board is a great money savings tip. No question about it. Michael S., how many roller coasters have musical stairs? 1. I know for sure Symphony does. So what's the other one you're trying to get me with? Well, this is a pop quiz. My answer is 1, but I'm sure you're going to remind me of some other ship that has one that I can't think of. If it's Spectrum, that doesn't count. It's over in China. No offense, but I know so little about Spectrum. It's just out there. I'm going to say 2. 2. John Parkus, any chance of me going on a July cruise? Yes, of course there's a chance. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's 1 or 99%, but there's a chance. Absolutely. Liberty has musical stairs? Where, Josh? I mean, I believe you, but where is it? I have no idea. Old Man Gaming streams. Can you only bring wine, or can it be other alcohol? It can only be wine. Champagne as well, because that's sparkling wine. But you can't bring like liquor or beer or anything like that. So, yeah, Nick, I'm excited to see what happens with Australia. That'd be really, really good news right there. Catherine says, I'm confident that Royal Caribbean will resume cruises in April or May. Well, definitely not April, because they've already canceled April a couple months ago. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Proud to be a Royal Caribbean crew member here. Awesome. Well, listen, and maybe Catherine, you're also talking about, you're actually 100% accurate if you're talking about Odyssey of the Seas in Israel, because that's going to definitely be happening in May. In fact, I believe tomorrow we're supposed to be the Royal Caribbean. Tomorrow, Royal Caribbean should release its those Israel sailings on Odyssey of the Seas. Not that I don't think anybody in here can actually book it, but it's a new option that's out there, and so we're moving it. Things are going in the right direction, which is really, really good to see. Janie, going to Disney over spring break since Royal Caribbean sold Empress and canceled my April 27 days. Nice. That's not that you canceled cruises. Cancel is nice, but you know what I mean. Being able to get out there a little bit. Let's see. Faray says we went on Harmony of the Seas in March and got really lucky because that was the last time the ship went out. You know what? You were on the sailing just before. I was supposed to go on the sailing right after you, and that cruise was canceled because of the COVID and the cruise industry being shut down. They canceled it 2 days before, man. I was so close. So close. Terry Ventrelli with the super chat. Thank you, Terry. Hey, Matt. If vaccines are required, do you think it will matter which vaccine you get? No, I don't think it'll matter at all. I really, I mean, as long as it's one of the approved by the FDA, which today there's 3 of them, right? Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer. I think you're fine. No, I don't think it'll matter. But, of course, as you know, Terry, full disclosure, Royal Caribbean has not announced any policies regarding vaccines at all. So, I don't want to make it, they have not announced anything that says that you need to get the vaccine. So we need to be very, very clear on that. Nathan, any info who bought Majesty? No, there was a report that came out, Nathan, a couple of weeks ago, maybe now a couple of months ago, about, it was like, the answer is no. It hasn't been really, really clear who bought it, unlike Empress, in which we do know who bought it. But let's see here. Style Gaming. What new cruise will take over Symphony in size? Well, probably Wonder of the Seas next year in 2022. The next Oasis-class ship, Wonder of the Seas, will debut. Royal Caribbean hasn't said it, but every new Oasis-class ship has been a little bit larger than the last. So I think Style Gaming, the odds are it'll probably be Wonder of the Seas. Mark Hamill, anything great to see or do on Grandeur? Sure. I mean, it's still a great cruise ship. You got Schooner Bar, and the Schooner Bars on the Vision class are absolutely fantastic. You've got, of course, the pub on board. You've got rock climbing wall, which is a lot of fun. A great pool deck to enjoy. A lot of great stuff there. Joanne, what's the remaining itinerary rollout schedule? I believe, other than Israel tomorrow, in a couple of weeks, Singapore and then China. And then there's a TBA that's out there for I forget is it Europe or there's not much left, Joanne. It's basically at this point, other than those last couple ones, we're on the tail end here. It's going to be, the perhaps something later when we get to November, and then we start this whole process all over again. Now here's the speculation. If you guys didn't read about this yet, after this video, go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, because it looks like maybe, possibly, perhaps, Navigator of the Seas is going to sail out of Los Angeles in later this year. Royal Caribbean, if you've been watching the new itineraries that were released for 2022, 2023, there's no information. Navigator's missing from those. And the Port of Los Angeles website had on there Navigator of the Seas listed regularly in November and December of 21. They've since pulled down all their listings, so who knows? But maybe that'll be part of it. Don't know. There's a lot. The rumor mill is spinning right now. Very, 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 very fast. Kelly McGee, did you also hear that they're going ahead with the Galveston port expansion? Yes, it is fantastic news. I've been reporting about that for a number of weeks, that Galveston says that the new port was going to go ahead, and we got that confirmation last week. Great news. Absolutely. Yes, love it. Don, the Vision class, the Windjammer is forward. Yeah, I will not remember that. I'm going to get on board. Is it really? I remember that being the case on Majesty, but that always messes with me. Jay says he likes the Solarium on Vision class. Ooh, yeah, that's true. Their Solarium is quite large, and I do like their location of Park Cafe there. So, yeah, absolutely. M. Rosser, do you think the prices of roller coaster cruises will skyrocket past the average price we're used to? Skyrocket past the average price? No. There will be some strong demand, though. But even in Singapore, where it's the only game in town, they haven't gone crazy. No, I don't think it's going to skyrocket. Prices go up year over year, so I don't want to think you're going to get it for nothing. But I think Royal Caribbean has always priced their cruises appropriately going forward. Israel cruises are for Israelis only that have been totally vaccinated. Crew will also be fully vaccinated. Yes, there is one thing about the Israel cruises, which they say, and I searched Royal Caribbean's press release, they didn't use the word fully vaccinated. That's not entirely true. If you're above the age of 16, yes, you need to be fully vaccinated. The crew will be fully vaccinated. Mima is 100% right. However, children who are allowed on the cruise are not vaccinated. They'll be tested, but that's kind of at first I thought the media kind of missed that, and then I reread the press release, and the words Royal Caribbean in the press release did say fully vaccinated, so I don't know how they got around that, but yeah. Do you think Royal Caribbean will ever try to expand its operations in Dubai? No, at least not anytime soon. They kind of got snake bitten over there with a couple of years ago with Iran and some of the issues there. Royal Caribbean really pulled out of doing those cruises because, unfortunately, it's just too close to problems. And listen, we saw that in the Middle East for a while after the revolutions in Libya and Egypt, and now we've got cruises going out of Israel again. So baby steps. Turkey was the same way for a while. Baby steps. And I think I saw a question. Oh, Brogan said the Odyssey sailing is strictly for Israel residents. Yes. As far as the answer is yes. I don't know how much they'll enforce it, Brogan. But the bigger issue for me would be, even though I am an Israeli citizen but not a resident, I'm not vaccinated. So that's part of the problem for me. Furman Reynolds, do you have any recommendations for hotels at Port Everglades or Fort Lauderdale? Trying to be optimistic about a November Odyssey cruise. Yes, I do. The best there's a lot of great hotels in Fort Lauderdale. The Embassy Suites it's like Embassy Suites, 18th Street, 19th Street, something like that, is really good. Very close to the port. A lot of people love it. I stayed at the Cambria Suites, which was good. I stayed there twice. The first time was amazing. Second time, I just stayed there recently, and it was a little, not dilapidated, but they clearly were not maintaining it that well. This was back in a couple of years ago now, so it was fine for one night. Totally good. Those are both good places. You've got the W. There's a number of great hotels there. What I do in a city, Furman, Furman, is there an R in there? Yes, there is. Furman, what I do in those kind of situations where I'm like, I want a good hotel, I want a clean hotel, I want a safe hotel, I want a good hotel at a reasonable price. I'll go to Priceline Express deals and go to a city like Fort Lauderdale and pick 4 stars or higher. Usually do pretty well with that. Jan Fagan says, Matt, do you think Royal Caribbean will do the Allure refurbishment before it begins sailings out of Galveston? As of right now, today, I don't think they will. I think they won't do any refurbishments, like upgrades, until money is flowing. They've got some actual cash flow going, and they're not like, they're not in dire straits financially. When their financial state improves, I think they'll be able to do that. But I think, that granted, Jane, you're talking about November 22. That's a year and a half easy from now. That's a long time. Anything's possible, but as of right now, yeah. Troy Hummel says, I've seen some posts about a questionnaire from Royal Caribbean. Yeah, so a survey went out, Troy, this afternoon. I posted the survey over on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. So, Troy, if you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com after this video, front page, it is right there. Kelly Hardy recommends the Hilton Fort Lauderdale Marina. That's the other one I was thinking of. Thank you. I knew a marina was in the word. Kelly really recommends that one, and I've heard very, very good things. Danny DiMatteo, good hotels in Orlando. Port. It's funny you say Orlando Port. There is no Orlando Port. It's Port Canaveral. In Port Canaveral, the Radisson is very highly recommended. I have stayed at the Holiday Inn Vacations Resort, which is right at the port. That's a great hotel. You're going to need to Uber to get around there. But those are good as well. And Danny, when it comes to cruising out of Port Canaveral, if you're not finding great rates or options or both in Port Canaveral, look at Orlando, because It's only about a 45-minute drive from Orlando. There's so many more hotels at much better prices with much more to do in Orlando. So it's really not that much of a stretch to the morning. You stay in Orlando. The morning of your cruise, you hop in the Uber or Lyft and drive out to the port and get on the ship. Josh Taylor says, did the ship in Singapore do any test sailings prior to letting the public on board in December? If so, how many days test cruises were there? I believe there was. I don't recall exactly, Josh. I'd have to look at it. I'd have to look back on. I seem to recall them doing something, but obviously Royal Caribbean announced they were going to do cruises out of Singapore, but I'm not sure to what extent those were done in terms of test cruises or whatnot. I can only tell you, Josh, from my personal experience, when Royal Caribbean starts any ship up, they need some practice, and that's kind of, what that is. Hey, BJ says, hi, Matt, love your work. Thank you very much. Candace recommends Hyatt House and the Hyatt Place. Good stuff. Kelly says, at Port Canaveral, I usually stay at the Country Inn and Suites because when I wake up, I can look at the window and see the ships. And that's a great recommendation as well. A lot of people absolutely love that. Dawn Shive says, with the super chat, thank you, Dawn. Thanks for telling me about MEI Travel. Love Kelly Hardy. Wow, that's awesome. Well, first of all, I saw her first. Kelly is my friend. No, I'm kidding. I mean, she is my friend, but I'm not kidding about that. But that's awesome, Dawn. I'm so glad that you found some great service there from MEI Travel. They do fantastic work. We love what they do there. We've got Kelly's in our chat right here, along with Becky, Beth, Rich O, Jennifer. So we got some great crew in here. They do a really, really nice job. And I'm really glad to hear that they're taking good care of you. And all right, we've got time for, wow, it's already been 46 minutes. My goodness. All right, time for another question or two, guys. And then I got to run out of here. HIWF Wrestling says, a cruise out of LA? I don't know. They have some of the tightest restrictions. Same issue with cruise out of Jersey. Well, I think you got to look past where we are right now. I think that's what Royal Caribbean is trying to do, basically. But I know there's a lot of people who love to see it. In fact, it's been 10 years since Royal Caribbean has cruised out of the West Coast, which is a really long time. Berkeley, will you be booking your flights to the Norway Group Cruise in July? I will be. Yes, I need to do that, actually. I need to really, really, really do that. So, Becky says, I can't wait till we all get to sail again, right? Every time a bell rings, we get to go on a cruise. I don't know why I thought of that scene from It's a Wonderful Life, but it's just, yeah, I agree, Becky. I really, it's going to be like a homecoming. It's really going to be like that, So, hope I'm not the one who's, oh man, he'll put on some weight. Oh, goodness. Tony Diaz says, Beth from MEI Travel has a heart of gold she puts up with me. I can tell you from experience, Beth must have a heart of gold to put up with Tony. Love it. Danny DiMatteo coming with a super chat. Thank you, Danny. No message, but thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. You've been very generous. A lot of generosity today in the stream. Very, very kind of all of you guys. Of course, as you guys know, super chats are not required or anything like that. I'm not, pandering for them, but I do appreciate them. It really does make a difference. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Danny says, thank you. Thank you, Danny. So Kelly says, I think I'm going to cry when I reboard the ship for the first time. I will too, Kelly. I'll get on board and be like, I can't believe I'm on here. Where's the Windjammer? Is it open yet? Okay, cool. I'll be right back. I got to go eat. See you later, Kelly. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna last question today. Robbie Jackson, when will we be cruising again without mask requirements? Don't know, my friend. Eventually, but I don't know when eventually is. I mean, this. Think about how much has changed in the last 2 months in terms of this, the control of the virus and whatnot. I don't know the answer, but I do know that things are moving, and but no one really knows the answer to that question. It's just way too early to know that. So. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. I need to say some thank yous before we get going here to our super chatters today. You guys have been super awesome. Thank you, Danny DiMatteo, for the super chat. Dawn, thank you for the super chat. Terry, thank you for the super chat. Don and Judy, thank you for the super chat. Luke, thank you for the super chat. Tony Diaz, thank you for the super chat. Jason Lickard, thank you for the super chat. Eddie Hill, thank you for the super chat. Janie, thank you for the super chat. And Jan Fagan, thank you for your super chat as well. Again, the party started. And thank you to everybody in our chat today. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. We're live here every Monday on YouTube, so it's the best way to start your week off, right? It's Monday. No one likes Monday, but we all like talking cruises. So come on in here next time. Great chat this afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is by you. Have a great week, everybody. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. There's a ton of new blog posts over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. 4 new posts. We got a new YouTube video coming out tomorrow on our channel. Check it all out. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Guys, have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, but do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.